Coach, what have you been trying to get across to these guys, and anything in particular?
Yeah, so playing hard, playing together has been our 2 team spring goals. And then we've been really trying to establish relentless effort on the defense side of the ball. Really emphasizing takeaways at practice, some of the circuit drills we've been doing, some of the meetings, teaching exactly how to take the ball away, finishing on the ball when it's in the air, and then playing together. We call that shared commitment, brotherhood, connection, but just it's bigger than just me. It's it's all of us. So for us, that's really been the main emphasis so far this spring.
I guess you guys want to get back to forcing a lot of turnovers like y'all did a couple years ago.
Yes, sir. And, I think it starts with the relentless effort part. It starts with playing hard. And so we want people to turn on the film on Sundays when they're playing us, that next Saturday, and we want them to say, holy cow, like these guys, they play balls to the wall, like their hair's on fire. And so that's really, really what we're looking for right now with each practice. Can we improve that? Because that'll solve some mistakes sometimes, but more than that, when you're playing hard, turnovers will kind of come. More guys are around the ball, there's more guys for strip attempts, fumble attempts, sack attempts, and then tip balls now all of a sudden become picks. And so that's really been a huge emphasis for us.
Part of that relentless part, is that also the Pressman coverage that you are using? Does that play into that too? Trying to get back to that aggressive nature you had 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. We want to be able to get up in people's face and really challenge them at the line of scrimmage. And so I think that's something that we want to have as a tool in our bag. Is that going to be who we are all the time? I can't really tell you that right now. But I do think for us, it is an area that we want to improve on. We want to be tighter in coverage, and we want to, take away the windows, for the quarterback, and then hopefully we can apply some pressure, and now all of a sudden you get rush and coverage working together, and that's the shared commitment again.
Matt, from everyone we talk to, energetic always is the way to describe you. Like, where's that come from?
Yeah.
What goes on in your brain when you take the field?
Yeah, and then I do this interview, and you're like, where's all the energy at, right? No, I think everything counts and everything matters. And, it's been part of me for a long time. I'm very, very passionate about football, and whether that's in a meeting setting where we're talking football and I'm trying to get guys fired up about that day of practice or that week of the game. I think, Coach Aranda kind of said it today. He used an example about everything counting and everything mattering, and how there's an art to just about everything. And once you see it, right, you know it in more than one field. And I see meetings that way. I see, cut-ups that way. I see walkthroughs that way. I see practices that way. And I think for us, as coaches, really hard if you don't bring energy, to get guys to play with relentless effort. And so, that's it's easy for me because I guess I'm passionate about it because I love it so much. I mean, best part of my day is when we hit the grass. And, sometimes there'll be a lot of things on your mind, but once you get out there, if you can be like what you're trying to get the players to do and just be 100 miles an hour, then, I think the result's going to be, you're going to like the result. So,
Matt, another thing that Coach talked about was really kind of bringing you on to establish that culture and get back to, the culture they're trying to bring here to Baylor. Is that important to you, too, coming onto the staff once again?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the culture is, it's a huge part of it, right? And all I can tell you is my experiences here, right? And I felt like that 21 season, the team culture was as good as I'd ever been around. And I know that we're working hard with this 23 team to build it in a similar manner. Built on the same principles, and I think there's a lot of things with this 23 team that resemble that team in certain ways. The youth would probably be a little bit of the difference, but I think we do have some key leaders. I think we have some older guys with experience that kind of help bridge that gap over time.
What do you think has been the biggest obstacle kind of bridging that gap?
I think the biggest obstacle right, is the older guys, showing the younger guys the way. And sometimes when a new guy, right, he was a young guy. Now he's a sophomore, junior. Now he's an old guy, right, and now he needs to be a leader. It's being able to, call people up, when it's good, but then kind of call them out and bring them up, when it's, put them up when it's good and then call them up when it's bad. And sometimes that can be a challenge for some of those guys. But we got some guys that are starting to get comfortable in doing that. And I think with, us trying to play together, work together, all those types of things, I think the young guys understand that it's not coming from a bad place, man. It's coming from, this dude really cares about me, right? This dude really wants me, to do good and succeed and make plays and be a part of something great. So,
what changes or growth have you seen in Dave Aranda over these last 2 years, like seeing as you've been gone?
Yeah, to me, he seems way more comfortable. Coaches himself like 100% of the time. And that's one of the things I love about him. And he's unique, but he's so sharp, he's so bright. But I would think just the comfort level in that position, right? It feels like so natural right now. I go into every staff meeting, man. I leave there with 2 or 3 pages of notes. There's not many that I've been around that I've been more impressed with. And he's that guy, not just from a defensive perspective, I think from a team perspective. And I really believe he's doing an elite job right now.
Matt, is there anybody you'd like to mention as far as guys who stood out as leaders so far?
Yeah, I think in the front, I think TJ and Gabe are starting to take those reins up front. I think, when you start talking about the backers, I think Matt Jones and, Mike Smith has been extremely vocal these last 2 practices, and he's been helping a lot of the younger guys. That's been really cool to see. And then I think secondary-wise, I think Devin Lemire, just, his role right now, it's really cool to see him try to take those reins. And so those would be some guys defensively, I think, that stand out right now for sure.
What was the biggest thing for your growth when you went to the league?
Yeah, one, I think seeing it done a different way and getting those, and that's in a lot of realm, right? So maybe defensively, maybe team-wise, maybe recruiting-wise, and at a place that's done it at a high level, or for a staff with a lot of coaches that have done it at a high level. I think that experience, being able to bring in new ideas, being able to bring in maybe a different way to, I was going to say skin a cat, but I feel like that's an old coaching term that I don't even know if that makes sense to outside, to other people. But anyways, I would say that the experience that I gained from there, I couldn't replace. That was big time.
What are you seeing out of your room of the safety room?
Say that one more time, Jerry.
What are you seeing out of your safety room? That group?
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of the things that we've been emphasizing, I think the relentless effort piece, I think we've done a good job of attacking the ball. I think there's been guys that, not only understand what their job is, but they're starting to understand where their help is. And to me, that was a huge difference in 21 was, hey, understanding that, hey, I can play to my help, right? Hey, in coverage, this is where my help is. And run support, this is where my help is. And being extremely detailed in that category, I really feel like, as we've gotten practice 6, 7, 8, okay, we've become a little bit more details, especially in the foundation-based calls of our defense.
Getting to come back to Baylor, how special is that, and how much does this program mean to you?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, whether it's family members, whether it's recruits, whether it's, our players, this place is special. And you don't realize it, until you're immersed in it and you really feel it. There's not a place where you can get an elite education like here. You can grow in faith. Obviously compete for championships. It's been done just about every program on campus. And so it's really, really cool from that standpoint. And then I think that just the community in Waco and the Baylor support system, whether that's alumni or, y'all, it's just been amazing. And I love it. So appreciate that question.
From your lens as defensive
Yep.
coordinator, how have you seen the quarterbacks come along in that competition?
Man, it's been awesome to see. They give us their best every day. Just like most position groups, they're competing at a really high level right now. Blake threw a couple of balls on Saturday. I'm like, how did he fit that in there? And he's, I've seen his growth, his moxie, him growing as a leader. And then, Sawyer on the other side, man, I mean, holy moly. I mean, really good athlete. I mean, he's energetic. He's got this vibe about him. And so, yeah, it's been really cool to see, and they've been pushing us from a defensive standpoint.